of the Armor Bodies Amateur Sport Bike Championship, as the front row riders all focused on the starting lights on green, the field away to charge into turn number one, and it's local rider Efren Ellenbogen, number 81 on the Yamaha, who will grab the early lead. Cody Matichuk up into second, and a great battle for third between Marcel Ernie and Sebastien Tremblay on the Kawasaki's.
Ernie and Tremblay, no love lost between these two. They've passed and repassed already when we get to turn three.
Those two Kawasaki riders, Marcel Ernie and Sebastien Tremblay, have been battling all season long, but here's your leader, Efren Ellenbogen, on that number 81 Yamaha, out of the hair with about a 5-length lead over 111 Cody Matichuk, who coming to the race had a 47-point lead over Sebastien Tremblay. Ellenbogen, your leader, in off the end of the back straightaway through the right-hander. Matichuk keeping it close.
Preseason, Ellenbogen was certainly one of our favorites in Armor Bodies Amateur Sport Bike. He's had a lot of pace this year, but very little to show for it. Would definitely like result to finish the year. Winning here at home at Shannonville will be the best possible medicine.
Efren Ellenbogen closely shadowed by Cody Matichuk as they work onto the start-finish straightaway. 2:31, Sebastien Tremblay running in third, 74, Marcel Ernie fourth, and it's 45, Billy Shields on the Yamaha, rounding out the top five. They work up out of turn number two, headed into the top of the S's. Ellenbogen, again, just a couple of bike lengths ahead of Matichuk. Tremblay sitting right there in third. As they we've got a crash. That is Billy Shields, number 45, crashing his Yamaha in turn number three. And that'll take, big slide there by Ellenbogen. That is going to allow Matichuk now to close down the back straightaway. Here goes Cody Matichuk. He'll pull up alongside him. Matichuk will grab the lead.
Everybody wants that big drive coming out of the hairpin onto the long back straight, but the slightest little bob will spin the tire or maybe get slightly sideways the way Ellenbogen did. It sets it up for the guy in the draft, and it was really pretty easy there for Cody Matichuk. He didn't have to push too hard. He still ran it really deep off the back straight just in case Ellenbogen was feeling ambitious.
There is 45, Billy Shields, pushing his Yamaha away. Rider is obviously okay, but out of the running early here this afternoon. They work back to the line. 111, Cody Matichuk, closely followed here by 81, Efren Ellenbogen, our early leader. But here is Sebastien Tremblay on the Kawasaki. He's starting to reel in both the first and second place machines.
Where we have these championship battles, in this case it's Matichuk versus Tremblay. Tremblay's looking for someone to get in and affect things, and Ellenbogen doesn't look like he wants to be involved in the points battle. This means Tremblay needs to get to Ellenbogen, then to try and pressure Matichuk to try and shake things up at the front, and I think that's what's about to happen. Tremblay understands he has to be the catalyst in making things happen.
Tremblay going to the right there, clipped a bit of debris that was in the middle of the racetrack. These front-running full riders have pulled away from the rest of the field. Cody Matichuk, 16 years of age, out of Cochrane, Alberta, won the opening round at Calabogie. It was Tremblay who won round number two on his home track at Icar in Quebec. But then Matichuk has come storming back, 3 wins in a row at Race City Mosport and the latest at Atlantic Motorsport Park. And as we said, he had a monumental lead coming into this final round, could almost back into the championship, but he is on the pace and leading. Efren Ellenbogen.
One of the reasons many of the Canadian road race establishment insiders think that Cody's going to be the next big thing is the fact he is so comfortable leading. We've seen incredible pace in practice and qualifying, but more than anything, we've seen a guy who's willing to lead a race, knows how fast he can go, and looks like he knows how to hatch a championship. He's doing much more than he needs to do right now, and again, Tremblay needs to move.
And there goes Tremblay inside of Ellenbogen, who left the door open, and Sebastien Tremblay has moved around into that second place position. So Matichuk, your points leader, out in front, 2:31 on the Kawasaki, that Purus Kawasaki of Sebastien Tremblay. Tremblay knows he's got to win this race if he has any hope of taking the championship. But then it'll be Matichuk. Even if he finishes second or third, he would win it by a bunch of points as they work back to the line, and things really starting to tighten up at the front. Tremblay is all over Matichuk.
This is 2009 in a nutshell. Tremblay versus Matichuk. Matichuk generally in control, but Tremblay pushing harder than we've seen him do it before.
And here comes Tremblay on the inside, will grab the lead as Matichuk got hung up behind number 70, Sarah Claude Carriere. the Women's Cup rider was running here in Armor Body's amateur sport bike. So Tremblay to the lead, Matichuk second. There goes Ellenbogen inside of Carriere. He runs in third. Oh, and Marcel Ernie has crashed. The fourth place rider, Marcel Ernie, has crashed his Kawasaki in the hairpin. He'll pick up the machine, but this is going to cost them lots of positions out there on the racetrack. So a tough break there for number 74, Marcel Ernie, out of West Kelowna, British Columbia, on the Kawasaki. He was our second place finisher at Calgary earlier this year.
Ernie was another preseason favorite for the amateur sport bike title, but he couldn't attend all the rounds. Had a crash at our most recent round at Shubenacadie. Now his second ever showing at Shannonville hasn't gone very well either.
Up front, 231 on the Perouse Kawasaki, Sebastien Tremblay out of Longueuil, Quebec, as he looks for his second win of the season. But right now, Cody Matichuk running in second would wrap up this championship. Efren Ellenbogen on the number 81 Yamaha. And Ellenbogen goes down in turn number 3, the same spot on the racetrack where Billy Shields crashed earlier. So first they were 4 and 3, and now we're down to just 2 riders up in that lead battle. There you can see Matichuk looking over his left shoulder. He will be content to run here in second and take this Armor Body Sport Bike Championship.
Matichuk is now looking at the longest laps of his life. He has no reason to push. Tremblay, on the other hand, he had a big practice crash, had to rebuild his bike, totaled his bike at the most recent round at Shuby, and still got a second out of it. 2 very different points in their career. It really looks like that everything's going to go Matichuk's way.
Here we look at the replay, Colin. There you can see Ellenbogen looks as though he just lost the front end.
Really ripply there in turn 3, and Ellenbogen's having a look. He knows what the track's like there. It's easy to make a mistake. If you have to cross those ripples leaned over, things get ugly in a hurry.
With Ellenbogen out of third, this now becomes the battle for third here between number 110. That is Jeffrey Dion out of Granby, Quebec, a 16-year-old rider who came out of the Honda CBR 125 Championship, and closely being followed by number 78, Vicky Scouten out of Richmond, Ontario, on the Kahuna Kawasaki. She won the Women's Cup race earlier today.
1 lap to go. Here's Tremblay. He has only 1 win so far this season. He doesn't have a big team, not really any resources to speak of. He's battled his way through the entire season, had an incredible year, been the only person to regularly challenge Matichuk. He's doing everything he can. This is probably his most impressive effort so far. Is it enough? Probably not, but you got to hand it to Tremblay. He does not have the depth of team of Matichuk, but he's riding almost as well.
Right now, just 20 riders running on the lead lap. That trio of riders just ahead of Tremblay as he comes out of the hairpin. We've got another rider there with problems at the hairpin, as Tremblay, number 231, will go by 26, Jean-Sebastien Perrault, and into the right-hander at the end of the straightaway. He will also go around Martin Goslin, the Quebec rider, and just ahead of him is Amy Cardhouse, 56, another one of our Women's Cup riders. They come out of the chicane into Allen's corner. He will pass that 56 machine of Cardhouse. So now just 17 riders on the lead lap. 1 corner to go for Sebastien Tremblay, the Quebec rider, to the line, the checkered flag, and his second win of the year. But it will not be good enough, as Matichuk will win the championship.
Looking at the results for the final 2009 round of Armor Body's amateur sport bike, and Sebastien Tremblay does everything he can, but it's not enough. He takes the win, but Cody Matichuk is a careful second to earn the title. Jeffrey Dion outbattles Vicky Scouten to take the last podium spot in third. Meanwhile, Kenny Reedman on that unique Triumph Triple is 7th after taking a jump start time penalty from the start of the race.
Yeah, you know what? It was an exciting battle for the podium, and unfortunately I had no idea that I was fighting for a 3rd spot position there, but basically I knew I had to finish in the top 5 to go and get some black numbers next year, so
I seen Ernie go down, so I was like, man, I'm going to push harder to stay in front. Got a really good start, and had a little problem with the suspension. That's solved, so very good race.
He got me into turn 3. There's a lapper, and I just took a bad line around the outside, and Sebastian went right underneath. So yeah, it was a great race though. He ran a good pace, and I couldn't stay with him.
I never had a good start this year, but I'm able to do consistent lap time instead of one fast lap and then going down. But I was fast, consistently, so that's what got me the win.
Looking at our final overall point standings for Armor Body Sport Bike, Matechuk takes the title. Tremblay pushes him all the way. Meanwhile,